How often have you shared an idea or expressed an opinion only for no one to listen? No one. Or maybe they listened and they shrugged off your ideas or your comment as unimportant. I'm Jani White. I am a courageous speaking coach and founder of Prepare to Speak, a company that has a mission to help women to speak up. Hello, I am back and I shall begin with a question again. How often have you shared an idea or expressed an opinion only for no one to listen? No one. Or maybe they listened and they shrugged off your ideas or your comment as unimportant. Maybe you were even laughed at, or maybe you were mocked. We've all been through it at some point, have we not? These moments leave a mark on us that can make us hesitant to speak up for the rest of our lives. Again, it really is, especially since it doesn't start usually with just your crazy boss, your rude coworker. So oftentimes it starts in childhood. It starts with your siblings. It starts with your so-called friends. Can you relate? I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can remember some of these friends. And these experiences are really deeply personal and common, yet so often they are unspoken. And today I'd like to chat a little bit about it. Now for me, I was raised up in Washington Heights, and it was a little rough out there sometimes, with many pregnant teens and plenty of job opportunities in the drug sales business, if that was my interest. So I understood why our single mother, there's 3 of us, first generation, coming to America in her teens from Puerto Rico with few skills, no English, very little education. She knew that she had to fight to protect us. And that was seemingly her only mission. And in order to do so, she expected strict adherence to what she said, obedience to her every single demand, and she left very little space for our own personal growth, for our own opinions. There were no opinions but mommy's opinions. It was the only way that she knew to keep us safe, which in her mind meant to keep us fully under her control, seen and not heard. And I know children to be seen and not heard is a phrase that you have heard in your lifetime. But my mommy expected us to be strong, to be educated. Education was the most important, and to be independent. Her line was always, a man is not a plan. However, through all of her emotional rages, her pretty constant criticism, the guilting, and other, shall we call them, indignities, they ended up having the opposite effect on her daughters. We had lowered self-esteem. We had constant self-doubt, insecurities, and fears. And those have been things that we have had to fight against all of our lives. Has that been your situation? Anything similar to that? Share it in the chat, because I know most of us have a similar story that traces back to the insecurities that we feel now when we want to speak up. We can often trace them to a phase in our life, to an era, or maybe even to a single event, and these instances haunt us. You might remember a friend saying in jest, "Ah, girl, you're so stupid," or you want to share some great news, and suddenly you're shut down by your friend who says, "Girl, you think that's a big deal? What you're bragging about, that's no big deal." Or first of all, why are you bragging? Is it bragging if it's true? Anyway. Or sometimes we'll have that sibling, your own sibling, who says, "Shut up, girl. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say." Do we have any memories of these kind of statements being told to us? Have any of you heard these things? At some point, I'm sure most of us have, because even if we were raised in happy, healthy households, kids are cruel. We still went to school. So these instances have the power to creep up on us if we have not addressed them. Otherwise, now we may be in a meeting with an idea that you've worked on for some time. You're excited to be able to share, even though you're nervous. You've prepared for weeks, and you finally begin to share it, but somehow somebody interrupts you. Somebody dismisses thought. Somebody laughs at it, or just completely redirects the conversation. Or even worse, there are times when somebody will cut you off, share their part of what it is that you wanted to say, and then take credit for your thinking. And that sting, the sting of that public event, reinforces all of those past messages that you have not dealt with. So then the next time you have something to say, you'll hesitate. replaying that moment over and over again in your mind. You know how we do that sometimes? Something bad happens and it's like we can't get rid of it, right? It keeps replaying in our minds. And these past experiences do not just disappear. They create a cycle of self-doubt. Who am I? Am I worthy enough to speak, to share? Should I or should I not tell my friend how I feel about that comment that he or she said? Or should I just leave it alone, allow that bitter root to form? Are my thoughts valuable enough for the meeting? Do I deserve the raise? Do I deserve the promotion? Historically, women don't even ask for promotions or raises. Not much. We wonder, have I worked hard enough? Have I done enough? Am I enough? These negative experiences make us question our worth, make us question our abilities, make us question our voices. So now we stay quiet, not because we lack valuable input, not because we don't have anything interesting or important to say, but because we don't want the rejection. We don't want the rejection again, over again. And again, this is not just about one moment, it's about everything. These past experiences, they cloud how we feel about ourselves, how we see the world, and how we see the world in every situation moving forward after them. But you may wonder, it's been a long time. It's been many years. Why have we not been able to shake these experiences after so long? Oftentimes it's because we have not addressed them. If you feel that these experiences are still taking over you, it's because you have not addressed them. You have not challenged them. Because the fear is natural. The fear is rooted in our natural instincts to avoid pain, to preserve ourselves. Like you touch the hot stove, you get burned, you don't do it again. Well, being belittled has a similar effect. It tells us that speaking up is dangerous. It's somehow a defense mechanism that works against you, though, by keeping you from sharing your ideas, by keeping you from advocating for yourself or advocating for others. And I say, being unable to speak is even more dangerous. On my site, JaniWhite.co, of course, feel free to go check it out. I've posted my quote that I believe so passionately, that being unable to speak up is a dangerous way to live. That's the danger. Being unable to speak up is the danger. It leaves us with fewer options. It impacts our relationships. It limits our income potential. It leaves us unfulfilled, and really, we will have none of it. We have to decide that we will have none of it. Let us decide that we will have none of it. Okay? And as I wrap up, I would like to ask you to listen to the author and activist Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's story from her TED Talk. She has one called We Should All Be Feminists. She was dismissed early on. She talks about in one of her books how she was told that she should not call herself a feminist. She was dismissed as possibly being angry, lonely, sad. When she started to speak about this, feminism was not a nice topic. But she did not let that silence her. As a matter of fact, her voice, her staying with it, has really sparked these kind of global conversations about gender and equality, right? And how things need to change. She did not allow that early criticism, those conversations set against her that were meant to make her go in another direction. She didn't let those things stop her. And we cannot let them stop us. Her story shows that these past disapprovals, these negative experiences can silence us, but only if we let them do so. Okay? We can decide otherwise. There are too many important ideas that have never been shared because you did not speak up. There are too many potential leaders among you that are undiscovered because you did not speak up. I know that you are here. I know that you are listening. I know that you want to do something about it, and we must. Okay? We'll dive more deeply into strategies on how we can break away from this in an upcoming workshop that I'll be sharing with you. But for now, let us reflect. What are the past experiences that have stopped you from speaking up? Recognizing them is the first step. Recognize them, challenge them. So, my dears, I want to hear from you. I am grateful for those of you who have commented, who have sent me direct messages so that we can continue this conversation. Let's continue that. Share a comment, DM me. If you prefer privacy, share this with your girlfriends. Talk about this. Talk about this with the women in your lives. It's a conversation that we need to have. We need to look out for each other in this way. And of course, if this resonated with you, please let us continue this journey towards reclaiming our voices. I will be back, and I hope that you will be here to join me. I will endeavor to do this. Thank you much. We shall chat soon. You have made time for everyone and everything. It is time for you. Join us. in the visibility intensives and take back the power of your voice.